If you're in the market for a new car in 2025, you might be walking straight into a trap. Gone are the days when buying a vehicle meant a decade of reliable driving with only the occasional oil change or brake pad swap. Today's cars are more complex than ever, crammed with sensors, screens, batteries, and software systems that, while impressive on paper, are proving increasingly fragile in the real world. According to the latest 2025 auto reliability data from Consumer Reports, the landscape has shifted dramatically, and not in the consumer's favor. Certain brands, once considered pioneers or stalwarts of dependability, are now facing a flood of complaints, early failures, and astronomical repair costs. And it's not just about cost. It's about safety, predictability, and trust. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel to get the latest news. Built to meet the bare legal definition of automobile, rather than to serve as a reliable daily driver. And sometimes, it's just a matter of poor value. The kind of car that depreciates like a rock the moment you drive it off the lot, leaving you wondering where all your money went. The truth is, not every vehicle deserves a spot in your driveway, no matter how slick the ad campaign or how convincing the salesperson. There's a quiet graveyard of models that car makers keep building, either because they can still sell just enough to justify them, or because they haven't figured out a better replacement. And while some of these cars aren't outright terrible, they end up being forgettable, overpriced, or painfully compromised in ways that only become obvious once the honeymoon period ends. In this video, we're diving into 11 cars currently on the market, or just recently phased out, that you should think twice about before signing on the dotted line. We're not just talking about performance or specs, we're talking about the total ownership experience, cost, reliability, resale value, comfort, and whether they actually deliver what they claim to offer. Some of these will be familiar names with loyal fan bases, and some might surprise you. But in every case, we're pulling back the curtain on why they don't quite measure up. Over the next few segments, we'll break them down in groups, examining exactly where they go wrong and why your money is probably better spent elsewhere. By the end, you might find that a few of these are cars you've already considered, or maybe even owned, and you'll see why they're on this list. Let's get started. And you'll see why they're on this list. Let's get started. And you'll see why they're on this list. Started. And you'll see why they're on this list. Started. And you'll see why they're on this list. Take Jaguar, for instance, a luxury brand that's been aggressively transitioning to electric power. The 2025 Jaguar I-Pace, their flagship EV, continues to be plagued by battery management system failures and inconsistent charging behavior. While the vehicle's styling and performance are widely praised, more than 25% of surveyed owners report slow or failed charging sessions at public fast chargers, including total inability to DC fast charge at high speeds, a huge issue for road-tripping EV drivers. Worse, some I-Pace units have suffered full drivetrain loss caused by overheating inverter modules. These repairs aren't just rare, they're shockingly expensive. Out-of-warranty costs for an inverter replacement have been quoted above $12,000, and Jaguar's dealer network in North America is shrinking, making it even harder for affected owners to find qualified service centers. Meanwhile, legacy brands aren't faring much better. Ford, a mainstay of the American market, has stumbled hard with its 2025 Explorer Hybrid and F-150 Lightning. The Explorer's hybrid drivetrain has been repeatedly flagged for high failure rates in the regenerative braking system, causing unpredictable deceleration, especially at low speeds. This is more than an inconvenience. It's a safety hazard. Reports filed with NHTSA cite multiple cases of near collisions due to inconsistent braking behavior in congested traffic. Ford's F-150 Lightning, once the poster child of the electric truck movement, is now under scrutiny for high-voltage battery coolant leaks and onboard charging module failures. Consumer Reports notes that Lightning owners are more likely than any other full-size truck owners to report being stranded in the first 12 months, mostly due to charging or electronics faults. Despite its impressive performance specs and towing ability, many now consider the Lightning a risky buy unless it's strictly a local-use vehicle. Jeep, on the other hand, continues to suffer from its attempt to straddle the line between rugged tradition and modern electrification. The 2025 Grand Cherokee 4xe is experiencing a sharp uptick in electrical faults, including ghost warning lights, screen freezes, and hybrid drive system failures. More troubling, though, are issues with its electric driving range, which in many cases falls well below advertised numbers. Owners routinely report only achieving 12-15 miles of electric-only range, despite Jeep promising 25. Add to that multiple cases of vehicles entering limp mode while driving, and it's no surprise that owner satisfaction for the 4xe is sinking fast. Reliability isn't just about whether a car starts in the morning, it's about whether it behaves as advertised, and Jeep is struggling on both counts. Even Honda, a brand once practically synonymous with long-term durability, is feeling the pressure. The new 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid features cutting-edge interior tech, including a Google-powered infotainment system and integrated digital cluster. But many owners are complaining of system lag, freezing screens, and even total blackouts while driving, an issue that can affect both navigation and rear-view camera functionality. The hybrid powertrain itself has also shown early signs of degradation, with some owners reporting a noticeable dip in fuel efficiency within just 10,000 miles. While Honda still ranks relatively high in overall, modern car ownership doesn't end at the purchase. In many ways, it's where the problems begin. A growing concern among owners in 2025 is that the safety net of the manufacturer warranty doesn't actually provide the protection people expect. As vehicles become more technologically advanced, the definitions of what's covered and what's excluded have quietly evolved, leaving many drivers blindsided when major repairs arise. And this is especially true for the brands we discussed earlier: Tesla, Jaguar, Ford, Jeep, and even Honda, each of which now carries its own unique version of the modern warranty trap. Let's take Tesla as an example. On paper, Tesla offers a fairly generous 8-year warranty on the battery and drivetrain, but the fine print tells a different story. Multiple owners of the 2025 Model 3 and Model Y have been denied coverage for early battery degradation, particularly when Tesla's internal diagnostics failed to register the issue as severe enough. Even more frustrating is the lack of transparency. Tesla doesn't provide battery health reports to customers the way legacy manufacturers do, meaning owners can't see their degradation in hard numbers unless Tesla decides to disclose it. Meanwhile, repairs to touchscreen systems, cameras, and software glitches fall under a much shorter basic warranty, and after that expires, even a minor computer failure can cost thousands out of pocket. One 2025 Model S owner reported paying nearly $3,400 just to replace a failing media control unit that stopped syncing climate controls. Jaguar is no stranger to warranty complications either. Their 5-year, 60,000-mile coverage looks respectable, until you realize that many electric components in the I-Pace are not included under the powertrain coverage. In fact, owners report that infotainment system issues and electrical gremlins are often categorized as wear and tear, and thus denied. Dealerships are also more likely to reset software faults rather than replace faulty modules outright, meaning the same issue often resurfaces months later. And with fewer Jaguar service centers operating in 2025, some customers in rural or suburban regions have to drive several hours just to get a diagnostic check, only to be told they're on a weeks-long wait list. Ford and Jeep, despite being American staples with broad dealer networks, are just as guilty of playing games with coverage. Owners of the 2025 Ford Explorer Hybrid are learning the hard way that many hybrid components fall under a separate emissions warranty with more limited terms. Even in cases of drivetrain failure, service centers are increasingly reluctant to greenlight replacements without jumping through corporate hoops, delaying repairs for weeks. The same applies to the F-150 Lightning. Issues with onboard charging modules or battery leaks often spark finger-pointing between dealerships and Ford corporate, especially if the issue straddles the line between defective part and external damage. Jeep's customer experience has also taken a hit. With the 4xe lineup, many service departments are not yet fully trained on diagnosing hybrid electric problems, which means customers sometimes return multiple times before a solution is found, if it's found at all. Adding insult to injury, the cost of rental coverage during these prolonged repair periods often. So what happens when your warranty runs out? For more and more drivers in 2025, the answer is financial devastation. What used to be rare, high-mileage failures are now showing up much earlier, often between 40,000 and 70,000 miles, just beyond the manufacturer's standard warranty window. According to Consumer Reports' latest reliability survey, some of the worst offenders this year aren't exotic or obscure. They're everyday vehicles sold in massive volumes, and the cost to repair these modern systems is staggering. Take the 2025 Ford Explorer Hybrid, a family SUV that's become a common sight in driveways across the country. Owners who pass the 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty are reporting sudden failures of the battery cooling system, which is critical to keeping the hybrid battery pack from overheating. The part itself costs just under $2,000, but labor is another $1,300, and that's if you're lucky enough to have a dealership technician trained in hybrid systems. Several customers told Consumer Reports they were quoted $3,500, $4,200 for the job for a vehicle just 3 years old. Now consider Tesla, where the technology is more advanced, but the repair environment is even more restrictive. On the 2025 Model Y, issues with the heat pump system, designed to regulate cabin temperature and battery conditioning, have become increasingly common. When this system fails, drivers can experience total loss of climate control, battery range reduction, and even safety warnings. Unfortunately, Tesla doesn't offer third-party repair support, and independent shops can't legally or safely work on high-voltage systems. That leaves owners with only one option: Tesla's own service centers. In many states, Model Y heat pump repairs cost between $2,800 and $5,000, and parts backlogs can delay service by months. If your warranty expired a few thousand miles ago, you're on your own. Luxury brands aren't spared either. On the 2025 Jaguar F-Pace P400, a common failure point is the electronic differential actuator, part of the AWD system that helps manage torque distribution. When it goes, drivers report grinding noises and loss of traction on slippery surfaces. The fix? An entire rear differential module replacement, which can cost over $6,000 after labor and calibration. And with Jaguar's shrinking dealer footprint, some owners are having to ship their vehicles across state lines just to get service. Then there's Jeep, specifically the 2025 Wrangler 4xe. While Jeep marketed the plug-in hybrid powertrain as rugged and future-ready, it has proven vulnerable in real-world conditions. The onboard charger, a component critical to converting AC wall power into usable battery charge, it is a frequent failure point. When it goes, not only can the vehicle no longer be charged at home, but it often throws cascading system errors that cripple other vehicle functions. Jeep dealers have been quoting $3,800, $47 for full replacement, and in many regions, wait times for parts exceed 45 days. One owner in Arizona reported having their Wrangler towed to the dealer twice within 3 months for the same recurring error, only to be told the issue was not covered under. Number 3 is the Infiniti Q50. The Infiniti Q50 is a car that feels like it's been living off its looks and badge for far too long. When it first launched, it brought a sleek, athletic design and a promise of performance that could rival German sports sedans. But the years have passed, and while competitors have evolved with cutting-edge tech, refined interiors, and more efficient powertrains, the Q50 has barely moved the needle. Step inside and you'll find an interior that, while stylish, now feels dated. The dual-screen infotainment system was novel when it debuted, but today it lags behind rivals in responsiveness, interface design, and overall user experience. The cabin materials are fine, but don't scream luxury the way a BMW 3 Series or Audi A4 does. And while the Q50's available twin-turbo V6 offers plenty of power, the driving experience is held back by a somewhat numb steering feel and a ride that can get jittery over imperfect roads. The bigger issue is value retention. Infiniti as a brand has struggled to keep resale values strong, and the Q50 is no exception. A few years of ownership can mean taking a heavy hit at trade-in time. It's not that the Q50 is a bad car, it's that it hasn't kept up with the competition. Buyers today have no shortage of options in the sports sedan space, and for most, the Q50 simply doesn't offer enough to pull them away from better rounded rivals. Number 2 is the Lincoln Nautilus. The Lincoln Nautilus is essentially a Ford Edge in a luxury suit, and that's both its strength and its weakness. On the plus side, it shares the Edge's roomy interior, comfortable ride, and proven mechanicals. Lincoln has dressed it up with a quieter cabin, more upscale materials, and a design language that aligns with its larger, more expensive SUVs. For buyers looking for a comfortable, quiet cruiser that feels a little more special than a mainstream crossover, it can seem appealing. The problem comes when you look at the price. Fully loaded, the Nautilus competes directly with true luxury heavyweights like the Lexus RX and BMW X5. Vehicles that carry more brand cachet and, in many cases, more advanced technology and stronger resale value. While Lincoln has made strides in interior quality, there are still reminders that this is fundamentally a gussied-up Ford, especially in the switchgear and underlying platform. Depreciation is another challenge. Luxury buyers tend to be brand conscious, and Lincoln still fights an uphill battle to shed its near-luxury perception. That means Nautilus owners can watch their investment lose value faster than many competitors. If you can snag one at a deep discount, it's a pleasant and comfortable SUV. But paying full sticker price makes it one of the weaker value propositions in its segment. Number 1 is the Maserati Ghibli. Few cars embody the phrase "heart overhead" quite like the Maserati Ghibli. On the surface, it's a dream machine. Sleek Italian styling, an exotic badge, and the kind of curb presence that makes people stop and stare. Slide into the driver's seat, fire up the engine, and you're met with a soundtrack that no German luxury sedan can quite match. It's a car designed to stir the soul. Unfortunately, owning a Ghibli often stirs something else: regret. While it looks every bit the high-end sports sedan, The Ghibli's interior, fit, and finish can be shockingly inconsistent for a car in its price bracket, with switchgear and components that feel borrowed from far cheaper vehicles. Reliability has also been a sticking point, with repair costs that can be eye-watering even for routine maintenance. And then there's depreciation. Maserati's resale values fall faster than almost any other luxury brand, meaning that just a few years after purchase, a Ghibli can lose an alarming percentage of its value. That's not to say the Ghibli is without merit. It's gorgeous, it's rare, and when it's running right, it's a genuinely special driving experience. But for most buyers, the reality of long-term ownership, from repair bills to resale value, makes it a risky proposition. The Ghibli is a car you buy with your heart, but your bank account might never forgive you. At the end of the day, these 11 cars show that not every vehicle is worth the hype, the badge, or the price. Some promise luxury, but deliver compromise. Others are cheap, but leave you wishing for more. And a few look amazing, but cost more in stress and repairs than you ever expected. Whether you're shopping for style, comfort, performance, or long-term value, it pays to look past the showroom shine and think about the real-world experience of owning a car. Choosing wisely means avoiding the models that seem appealing at first glance, but ultimately fall short, and saving both your money and your sanity in the process.